Back to the Neil Haley Show, and my guest today is from the Game Show Network, Jeff Hephner. Jeff, thanks for stopping by. We're going to talk about your show and this game show, Switch. How are you? And thanks for stopping by.
Of course. Thank you for having me. I'm doing great on this fine Monday morning before the eclipse.
Yeah, the eclipse. So, what crazy things are going to happen today? Thank goodness I'll stay inside and then I'll go out with my eclipse sunglasses, which are not going to be able to work at all because we're not going to see the eclipse because the weather in here in Pittsburgh. But other places, will the weather work out? We'll find out, Jeff. So talk about that transition in acting, okay, to your transition from acting to now being a game show host. What's the difference?
It's vastly different. I've spent so much time trying to hone a craft that digs deep into the narrative of a story and how I can be a part of it and just in a slice of it. And with this game show, it goes to a different story, right? I'm telling a different story. I'm participating in what feels like a real-time event. It's very akin to some of the improv study that I did as a young actor, where I'm just directly interacting with people unscripted in a moment of high pressure, high excitement, nervousness, and all of that energy has such a different mix because I'm not working with professionals who are doing it all day and who are used to hitting a mark and used to the light banging down on their face. And I love the energy that is just exuded from these contestants as they come into this kind of scenario. And that energy feeds me. And that is so much different than working as an actor because that's a different pace and it's a quieter moment. This is loud and goofy and fun and joyful. And I got to say, I didn't know what I was getting into, but I'm so glad I got into it.
It seems like you're glad you got into it. And it's like that improv thing is the fun thing. I mean, just think about, specifically enough us chit chatting this morning. I didn't know where we're going to go with this. And that's where fun. Then we're hitting it off. We're going to talk about whatever. And we're all, but telling people they got to check out this game show. But the thing is that you never know what your contestants are going to do, right? You don't know what question's going to be asked that's going to make you throw your improv hat on, right? So because the
Yeah.
kind of tell us this premise of this show and who are the types of contestants.
So with the contestants, we get everybody. We get the whole spectrum, and it's really really fun. To talk about the improv portion of it, we had a guy, and his name was G-Man, and every time he would answer, he jumped. And so within one question, he already has a nickname, Jumpin' G-Man. And it turns out every time it goes along, it takes a life of its own. This Jumpin' G-Man becomes an event, and all of us can kind of attach to the playfulness of it with this one contestant. And it just was born out of a quick moment where we were both reacting off one another. That's just a little sidebar about the improv. And I always think of that gentleman because we had so much fun together. And in the show itself, it's a light trivia show. And some of it's difficult, but most of it's pretty topical. And we have 5 contestants. They all start in positions behind these giant numbers. And as the game proceeds with each question, if you get it right, you could switch up. If you get a question wrong, you could switch down. And by the end of the game, if you've switched yourself into position number 1, you win and you get a chance at $10,000.
Okay. All right. So the questions could you answer most of the questions, Jeff, you think?
Oh my goodness, no. It's funny because I'll read the questions before the games and just to get pronunciations right, to understand who I'm talking about, and I'll know the answers. And even in the game, I'll be up there in my head going, I have no idea what this is. I forgot. And so I'm way behind.
Oh my goodness. I mean, I just think about it when you say it and say, I wouldn't be able to. Pop culture questions or from any type of genre, the questions.
Yeah, so they're any kind of genre. I mean, we have geography, we have math, we have, like you said, pop culture, and we have stuff you should have remembered from high school, and then you just can't. Like, we often spark into these conversations about your favorite teacher because, there'll be something we should have known from high school, and you'll have to remember that one teacher and either say thank you or you'll have to apologize because,
Yeah,
because it's just right on the tip of your tongue.
And that's terrible. I'm terrible at trivia, but I can remember every conversation I've had with somebody. I can remember specifically how to do certain things, but trivia just seems not trivial for me. You know what I mean? I can talk about certain shows. It just depends. I have selective photographic memory. And Jeff, that's what you should say, right? You know, even though you might have learned some new things being on this show, right? Some of the answers.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. And it's funny because, it'll come back at home. And my daughter watches every episode and she loves games and she loves trivia and she can remember certain questions and she'll ask me. And then every once in a while I remember, I'm like, yeah, I remember that. And we learned it from the show. And again, it's one of the great things about Switch is it's digestible for everybody. My daughter's 14 here, and we have our neighbor who's 95 and watches every episode, and they have conversations about it. They giggle about contestants. They talk about questions, and it's a game for everybody.
What do you think you've had to learn most about being a host?
The unscripted nature of it, just allowing myself to be in a moment and agree with what is coming at you, right? You just you take it in and you just try to redirect it in the most joyful and spontaneous way. And because as an actor, I work very hard on making decisions about a character that will come true many, many pages later in a script. And you're delicately balancing all of these choices for a reveal at another point. And with the game show, I'm constantly in reveal. I'm trying to reveal what the story is, what we're working on, and then trying to call back to it. So if we have some fun, like with the contestant who's jumping, and then we can call back to it at another moment. And so those elements are diametrically different than being an actor.
It definitely seems like it. And are you acting still? Are you too busy with the show right now to act other projects?
Oh no, yeah. I mean, no, I definitely we shoot shows in pretty big chunks, and so it does free me up to act. And I actually have a Netflix series coming out in May called Eric with Benedict Cumberbatch. And
Oh,
no, I very much still do my real job. This one's the game show is just a plus, man. I'm very fortunate I get to do it.
and then what do you think? So you're open to your own talk show at one point, right? Your own brand from learning this stuff right now. So
Listen, I don't want to take any work from you, Neil, but
no, you can
I would.
take work from me because I own it. So that's the difference. You talk to every one of these other ones, they're talk show hosts on a radio show that's owned. I own all the rights to everything I have. So it's all about me
I,
creating my own reality. Like I'm creating my own documentary based on my comeback into professional wrestling. I retired in 1999. I'm coming back at 51 and I'm creating this whole thing. We could create our own reality. So come
oh
on,
my,
a show for you soon is coming.
let's do it.
Oh yeah, I think we'd have a fun show for sure. And that's the thing of power about podcasting. You should think about podcasting, writing your story, but there's not enough time in the day, right, Jeff? That's the truth.
As you know, right? I mean, you're everywhere all at once, and yeah, it's the thing about being part of the narrative in this world we live in right now. We can all participate, right? The story is such a powerful way that we bond and we communicate with one another, and in this day and age, so many more of us can participate in each other's story, and I think that's a good thing. I think that's
It
how
is.
people want to communicate.
It's amazing. I talked to somebody who had a show on Discovery, and he says, I got a bigger social media following Discovery. And you're like, wow, the days of just, oh, I got myself a television deal doesn't matter anymore. It's about multi-channel, omni-channel presence everywhere and figuring out what your TAM is for based on what you have your total addressable market and how you can make money off of your fans at one point in some way providing a product or service. That's the big goal. That's what every actor needs to learn. That's what every brand needs to learn. Appreciate it, Jeff. Everyone needs to check it out. Switch again tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern. Appreciate it, Jeff. And we look forward to chatting again. Okay.
All right, Neil, thank you so much.
All right. You're welcome. You're listening and watching the Neil Haley Show. We'll be back in just a moment.